Good afternoon, traders. This is Christian Promhertz, Tribeca Trade Group, and it is Tuesday. What is today's date? Today is the 15th, so we are, this is the middle of the month. So middle of the month, we have still a big week in front of us, and we got a nice reversal from yesterday. Risk disclaimer in front of you. Please make sure that you go ahead and read the whole risk disclaimer, but bottom line, everything that we're going through here is for information purposes only. Yes, so I think we closed pretty close to the lows of the day yesterday, and we finished like very close to the highs of the day today. So the market just kind of continues to try to figure out what it basically wants to do directionally, handling a lot of headlines. So there again, as we talked about in yesterday's video, the S&P wasn't down that much yesterday. So when you add the two days together, you're up 1.5% net. So overall, not bad. Again, but there was a lot of separation once again when you look at sectors. Oil was down again today. You saw some names really recover from that. Some names didn't, and I think the energy names were the worst performing group. The other thing to point out here, and why I brought this screen up, is to look in this column percent change. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had the Wednesday was up 1.8%, and that was basically it. So very similar to bear market rallies. So besides the up 1.8%, last week we had the plus 2.7% and no follow through after that, and 3 straight down days. So the question is, with this pattern, is it going to start to change with the volatility of the moves, which many of them are over 1%, and especially when we look over at the Qs, right? That too, we did net a gain so far for the week, up 3.14% today, and down 1.9% yesterday. So net not bad for the day, but the volatility again is still there. And again, the other thing to point out too is which I think we did in yesterday's video, or if not, I did it in a member video, how many days out of like the last 20 there's been over a 1% move. You could see on this screen, which goes back to 222, right? There's only 2 days out of this batch of trading days where we haven't had over plus or minus 1% move. So the volatility has been there. The headlines continue at a fast pace. One thing that I noticed today, I'll put this on the positive side, yesterday's video, the market goes down, I'm super negative. Today, the market goes up, I'm more positive. I mean, listen, this is just how the market has been. And it's a lot easier to go through some of these charts too, when you have an up day. Some names, which we're going to go through in this video, look pretty good. But the one thing that I noticed too is, there was a negative headline today, which we've been getting. It's every other, it seems like, is positive, negative, positive, negative. But I think there was one negative headline where it didn't really move the market. Right. I was actually taping the midday video today. It was around 12 o'clock that Putin said that the negotiations, or something to that effect, said that they were not going well, and the market started to slip just for about 5 or 10 minutes. So perhaps the market is starting to kind of price in some of this, and you will find normally when you have a decent amount of volatility that the market will start to get numb to some of the headlines, and hopefully that we're coming around with that. Now, can you really hang your hat on a lot for tomorrow? I can't personally, because we've got Fed Day tomorrow. So, FOMC tomorrow, right? We'll talk about that, and then I'll go back to the charts in just a second. But if you want to look at, it's funny, there's always some snarky response that I get on Twitter, but this is what the Fed fund futures are pricing in, right? I'm not making this up. So right now, what's the market expecting? The market is pricing in a 25 basis point rate hike tomorrow. That's based on Fed fund futures. That's not based on like a prediction. I get it. There's so many people that make predictions on Twitter that some people think, oh, geez, it's just another prediction. No, this is what the market is pricing in. right? So the market has priced in that the Fed will move 25 basis points. Now, they could, of course, surprise, right? They could do more than that. They could do 50, right? They could do a rate hike of 50 basis points. That would surprise the market. They could do nothing. That would also surprise the market, right? But I think my view is I go with what the market says, which that there will be a 25 basis hike tomorrow. But I really think what will move the market is, you'll see whipsaw. That announcement will come out at 2:00 tomorrow, and then we'll have the press conference at 2:30, right? And what Powell are we going to get tomorrow? Remember the last meeting that we had for the Fed meeting, which was, I forget what date that was, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it right away. But that was what that was. Let's see if I can find it really quickly. I don't know if it's going to go back that far. Was it after? I don't think it was after 216. I think it was before that. And if it went by, I apologize. But let's just say, I think it was in January, right? Here it is, January 26th, right? Remember what happened on January 26th, or if you weren't trading or weren't watching then, Powell was very not confident. Right. The market, the more he talked last time in that press conference, the more the market went down on that day. So that was January 26th. We could probably go back and find that day. I think that was right in here. Right. Yeah. So the market tried to, the initial reaction was higher. Right. And that's why you have that funky type of candle. But and then the market closed, pretty close to the low of the day. And then we kind of had a crazy doji for the next day. We did manage to rally past that, and then you kind of know what happened thereafter. But he was very shaky in that meeting, and the market really didn't like him not giving a clear path. So that's what I would be looking for tomorrow, is if he's going to be a little bit more confident. We have heard him speak. Powell, was it last week or the week before, where he testified in front of Congress, right? He was a lot more, a lot more clear and gave the market a better message, right? So that's what I would be looking for tomorrow. Remember, the two things are going to be after let's say that they do raise interest rates tomorrow, 25 basis points. What everybody is going to want to know is what the speed of the rate hikes are going to be for the rest of the year. Remember, these brokers, some of them are still pricing in 6 or 7 rate hikes for 2022. So what is he going to say? Is he going to say that they're going to be relaxed with it? I don't anticipate him being super dovish. But let's see what he says. Let's see if he, I like I said, when he spoke last in front of Congress, the market was, took that in stride. That's what I'm hoping. But if he comes out and he's shaky about inflation and what's going on, then you might have a very volatile day. Regardless, I don't know if, and I think I've already said it in this video, but I'll reiterate, I don't know if you could really kind of, hang your hat on today's rally, because there's probably some short covering, some repositioning. It's also the 15th of the month, where sometimes there's a little bit of money put to work in the middle of the month. And then of course, then we still have to get through quadruple witching this week. So I'm not being complacent. I didn't really trade much today. I made a couple moves yesterday that I talked about in yesterday's video. This is sometimes how I am. Sometimes I'm a day early. I wanted to go long the Qs yesterday, and I tried going long Qs, and the market reversed on me pretty decently. So sometimes that happens to me, where I have a decent idea, but my timing is off. So you gotta, it's not an easy market. What can I say? Let's move on. The S&P chart is in front of you. There's nothing really that to kind of also, I'll use the same expression. I don't think there's really anything to majorly hang your hat on, other than if you really want to find the positives here, is that we did not take out, we did not close below the March 8th low. We also really didn't get below the 224. low, right? So this could be still consolidating and go lower. I'm not, I'm not ruling that out, but we basically take one day at a time. And the thing that I've been talking about 3 or 4 observations in this S&P chart, and none of them have changed really. We did get over the 5-period moving average. Okay, that's a baby step, right? But we still have to get above the 20-day moving average, and we got to get inside value. And then the next thing is, the 50-day, which again, people are talking about the death cross in the S&P, where you've got the 50-day crossing below the 20. So all of these things are going to are negative observations, still making a lower high, right? We have not, first thing we have to do, I guess, is take out this 3-9 candle and then kind of start to reverse the trend. So we'll see if we can build from here, right? I mean, as I've said, when we rally like this, because people get very positive, one day is not a trend. Right, we still have that VPOC down here too. It is very, very close to, I was looking at this earlier, a little bit before the close. It's close to a bullish engulfing, right? And if we look at the, there's a VPOC that was taken out to the upside, right? There was also, what's nice is we did get inside value. So watch 13,376. In the overnight session, we'll see if we can hold that. If we go back to the S&P just for a second, we're also in value there. So again, closer, right? Last week, remember how well the bottom of value worked. And again, if you're not familiar with this concept, the value area is based on so this week's value area is based on last week's volume profile, right? Volume at price, right? And notice how well that worked last week. Right, we could not get into the value area. So we're making some progress, but we've got to see more than that. All right, let me go through some charts for you guys. I thought, one of the names that I was watching was Amazon today. There was a VPOC up here. Notice that it was taken out. You'll just wait till Thinkorswim adjust here for a second. You'll see it, but it was actually in here, right? Bing, right? So again, like the version point of controls, are really good for noting where there's supply in the market, right? Where there's been a lot of volume previously that we have not revisited. So that was taken out. Let me go through a couple of charts that I thought were interesting. And it kind of seems like the same pattern. When we do rally, like I see the same stocks acting well. For example, United Healthcare, right? This happened last time, right? And I got excited about this chart, and then we completely reversed. Well, we're basically back to the scene of the crime, and we are just above that high from the previous week, right? Also in this same space, CVS has kind of come out of this consolidation. It almost did it here and then had a horrible looking candle, but still has to get through the top of value. Again, sticking with this managed care space, Molina, very strong. Also, something like an ABC, right? Nobody's watching this name. At least, I don't think there's very many people watching, but AmerisourceBergen Corporation, consolidation and bang, out to the highs, up 3.6%. Very strong, this group. Also, the insurers are, continue to be strong. Again, nobody's watching Travelers. I tried to trade this again back here, and or was it, did it happen here? So there's a false breakdown, something like this I got caught in, either a false breakout or may have been on this day. Again, this market's just been tricky, but now look at it go, right? Breaking out to new highs. Another name in this space is AON, right? Which is an insurer that's breaking out of the range, right? So again, you kind of just have to be, another one that I'm watching is Chubb, which acted well previously. Still, this one hasn't broken out, so I'm watching. But sometimes it's the boring ones. And I know we want to look for strength, in some of the other names. I'll mention a couple names that saw some call activity, but a lot of them are really beaten up. AbbVie made another huge move, right? So, this thing has just been very methodical, right? Had a huge move up today, up 2.5% back out to highs. A few names that I was watching for the dip, I liked how this name reacted today. A couple of these names sold off for a little bit. Really not too much damage here, but look at the low. It's 88, closed at 90, 94. Nice range. I didn't catch that one today. I was buying the dip in some of these things yesterday, and it didn't work too well. I think I was a day early. Devon Energy back at the 50-day moving average. I unwound my trade yesterday, so I'll be watching that one. Switch sectors a little bit. One to watch for tomorrow is Lowe's. I would like to see Lowe's get back above the 50-day moving average, top of value, but it's certainly acting decently. Broadcom is one that I've mentioned in a couple of these videos. I'm still watching, right? The semis had a nice move today. The semis were up, which is really good to see. They were up 4%. Right, the one that everybody is talking. Whenever there's call activity, by the way, there's call activity every day in NVIDIA. You can't really. I know that they talk about this one on TV a lot. Oh, they scrambled in. They scramble into calls every single day in NVIDIA. Let's be honest. This thing. So again, it's I'm definitely watching both of NVIDIA and AMD, as well as I like the chart of Broadcom better, but I would like to see it get back above the 200-day moving average. Since that VPOC takeout, it's been doing okay. It's been hanging in there, right? The other thing that I noticed too is we made a move to the top of value, right? When I saw this thing, after the initial move this morning, I was like, well, it's at 226, and it could probably grind up to 230. And even if after they mentioned on TV, it didn't really move. So if this is a name that you like, watch for a move over 230.40 tomorrow. Right, that would get you out of value, and also it might get you inside value. So you've got some resistance lining up on multiple time frames. AMD is another one. It still has more work to do before I even get a little bit more interested in this one. Right, so far it's just making a move off the low. Again, I have no interest in trying to time these things right from the low. Right, I'm sorry to say, if anybody's watching this video, who do we know that tries to time the bottom perfectly, right? Amateur traders, right? Sorry, try to time the turns perfectly, right? If you're more of a seasoned trader, you've probably developed a little bit of patience, right? And for me, again, I'm focusing on the trend. I want to see a change in trend. I don't want to just see a bounce for one day. Now, if you're a really good trader where you can time, where you could day trade, sometimes that's good enough for you just to get the day trade out of it. But I myself, I'm looking for things that are actually going to start changing their personality and their trend and start to act better, right? I mentioned Broadcom, which I'm watching. I'm also watching Marvell, right, which is right at the 200-day moving average. So again, Marvell will take one more rally, a day of a rally, and I would get pretty constructive with it above the 200-day moving average. Now, how would I handle that? I get this question in the trading room a lot. Well, how would you use the 200-day moving average? Well, I would just use it as a stop. That's it, right? And it's not predictive, right? It just tells you, hey, it's doing something a little bit different. Let me go long, and I've got a clear level to get out of. Now, again, the whole art of trading is to take a shot at something with a defined support level, right? And I would use that 200-day moving average. And if it's really going to move, right, and change personalities, then yes, it should get back above the 200-day moving average, and that should be the point for it to start to really get going, right? So that's the whole thought process. Right, is that you've got a defined level to tell yourself where you're wrong and where you're right. Okay. Just a few other names. This name was brought to my attention in the trading room. I would keep an eye on Juniper. Right, it's been acting fairly well in here. Obviously, full green bar rallied with a lot of names today. But I think if you could get this name, if this name starts to get, above here, I know it's still got to get through top of value, but I like the this kind of wedge that we've got going on here. Right, that would be a nice little move. So that's Juniper, right? And a name that's, again, it's in an uptrend. It's acting different. It's acting better. It's acting stronger, right? And then what else? And then I thought the shipping names, which continue to act very well too. We've got this name on in the TTG trend portfolio. I almost got a little bit worried about this name in here, but it's been methodically kind of moving higher, right? And there's a few of these names, right? The name that was on the weekend watch list. We talked about this group, which is SBLK, which is not acting as well. DAC is the one that everybody likes too. that actually did close above value. I still like the ZIM best. All right, guys, that is it. Was there something else? Was there another name that I was just going to spend some time talking about some of these sectors too? You know, this Chinese internet names. So finally they got a bounce, right? Do I think the bottom is in for the Chinese internet names? No. Look look at the move the last. Somebody said to me on Twitter, I said, hey, these things are down about 30% over the last 3 days. So that was Thursday, Friday, and Monday, 30%. All right. If you average these out, down 30%. So it's nice to see an up 4% move. But man, bullish engulfing down there. So, maybe it can build off of that, but these things are in a heavy downtrend. So I just hope that they don't continue to crater. That's not a great sign. All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Have a great night, everybody. Again, big day tomorrow. Fed meeting 2:00, press conference 2:30. We'll see if the market can kind of gain some traction after today's move, and we'll go from there. Have a great night, everybody.